I would now request our first speaker, Mr. Alan Williams, Managing Director of Service Brand Global, which helps progressive leaders of service sector organizations internationally and in UK to deliver values-driven service for sustained performance. An author, an international speaker, his projects have achieved measurable business impact and gained a lot of industry awards. Alan is the founder of the Global Values Alliance, a steering group member of the UK Values Alliance, and non-executive director of British Quality Foundation, to give us an insight on how we can apply values in our daily lives. Alan Williams, over to you.
Thank you very much, Rahul. And first, thanks to Paul for initiating this event, and Dr. Kanoria for the invitation to speak. I'm truly honoured to be here with you all today on World Values Day, and it's going to be a great day. And looking at the order of speakers, I think to put it into context, I'm kind of the warm-up act, and then the main event follows with the rest of the speakers. And what I'm going to talk about today is really prompted by memories of two organizations that I worked with and for. So the first organization, I remember lots of very talented people who really wanted to make a difference, and they were totally committed to doing that. But they were unable to because the corporate environment got in the way. And I remember a level of middle management that I used to call the quicksand kids, because these guys seemed to want to do anything to stop anything happening. You know, they just did not want progress within the organization. And there are many people in organizations that seem to serve their own personal interests rather than the best interests of the organization. Now, I contrast that organization with another that I worked for, where everybody progressed just brilliantly. There was a fantastic team ethic. Our results were amazing. And here, whenever we made mistakes, it seemed as though somebody was looking over us and got us through whatever problems we had. And again, the reason for this is because the organization structure and environment was really based on just two simple things. One, looking after our customers as best we could, and two, making it the best place for the employees to work. And those two principles managed to get us through whatever challenges we encountered. So you might be asking yourself the question, well, what's that got to do with values in action? And what it's got to do with values in action is that in our global values community, we have lots of people wanting to do good things. But the point I would like you to consider is that unless there is an appropriate environment within which they can operate and flourish and thrive and succeed, then they're not going to be able to realize their full potential. Now, in order to guide us through the next few minutes, I'd like you to just imagine a very simple house structure. And if you've got a pen and paper, feel free to do a drawing of the walls and windows and a door and a roof and the foundation at the bottom. If you haven't got a pen and paper or a pencil and paper, then just imagine that. And you can choose how detailed you want to make it. You can choose whether you want to fill it in or color it in. You choose what you want to do, but you haven't got much time, so you need to make up your mind. So what you've got either in your imagination or on a piece of paper now is a very simple structure with a door and windows and a roof and a foundation. And we're going to start with the roof. This is World Values Day. So World Values Day is the roof of your house, and today we want to shout from the rooftops about everybody's best efforts in the world of values. The World Values Day story has been incredible to be involved with, and I've just got some statistics here that I wanted to share with you. On average, each year on Twitter, we reach 37 million people. with the hashtag World Values Day. That's a big number. That's, I find it difficult to get my head around that number, in fact. On social media, we've engaged over the period of the last 5 years with over 40,000 people on the various channels. And for the last 3 years, we've had people from more than 100 countries taking part. Isn't that amazing? What a movement that is. And today, if you do nothing other than this from this call, please could I ask you to do one thing which consists of 3 simple steps. So the first one is to choose a value, so something that is really important to you. The second one is to do something very simple in honor of that value. Something very practical and simple. It might take you less than a minute. It might take you longer, but something very simple that is practical and in honor of that value. And then, could you please share what you've done online, whichever channel you use, however you would like to do that, whether it's with a selfie or just a tweet message or whatever you like. And that would really help us spread the word of World Values Day. So thank you for your participation. So World Values Day as the roof. Many of you will be familiar with Simon Sinek's work, I'm sure. And Simon Sinek has a YouTube talk where he talks about the difference between intensity and consistency. And he actually uses the example of dental hygiene to demonstrate this point. And what he says is, we get really excited about our annual checkup. You know, we put it in our diary, we book it, we pay the enormous bill, and we know we've done it. So we feel pretty good about ourselves that we've done that. But then he asks the question, is that what gives us healthy teeth? And of course, the answer is no, it's not. It's the 2 minutes a day, twice a day, every day. So this is the consistency as opposed to the intensity. And actually, there is a relevance here to World Values Day because in October, we celebrate all the way through the month, but that's still a little bit about intensity. And so the question is, what can we do that's more about consistency outside of World Values Day? And here for your house, these are the walls and the windows and the door. And think of this as your local, regional values movement or values alliance. So this is a collection of people who come together to put together initiatives and activities on an ongoing basis all through the year in your region. And around the world, we have local values alliances in the UK. The first one I think was in Sweden. We also have one starting today in Brazil. We have one in the US that's forming. There was one in India for a time, but I think that they went quiet, and the same was the situation in Canada. And I know that they're also looking at a movement in Australia, New Zealand, and that region. So the more of those regional movements we can create to conduct local activity on the ground, the better, because they provide the walls and the windows and the doors for our house. And if anybody is interested to know how to start one, please be in touch, because why should you go through the pain that some of us have already been through when we can actually share what we did and make your journey easier? So please be in touch if you would like to. And then finally, we have the foundation. So the role of the foundation is to keep the house stable and keep it connected. And here, please think about the Global Values Alliance. So the Global Values Alliance, our aspiration here is that this is the go-to place for everybody to go to for information, connection, and collaboration. And the purpose of the Global Values Alliance is to inspire greater authenticity around the world by placing values at the heart of society. So think of it as, in terms of metaphor, I've used a number of them. So one is a pond. So imagine that all the different types of wildlife go and congregate to this pond, and because everybody visits, the environment becomes richer, but nobody is actually forced to go there. Another analogy is like a Windows operating system. So like I was saying right at the beginning of this talk, it's providing the infrastructure and the environment within which we find it easier to operate. And on that point, if anybody is interested to support, help, develop, or be involved with Global Values Alliance, there's lots of opportunity to do that. So again, I would love to hear from people. So in summary, what I'm saying today is that we have to build a values house with our Global Values Alliance as the foundation, with our regional values alliances as the walls and the windows and the doors, and our World Values Day rooftop from which we are shouting loud and clear today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan, so much for giving us an insight on the World Values Day and the background of so many lovely things which people are doing all over the world in different countries. And I'm sure this will go a long way in taking this alliance and taking World Values Day to a different level altogether. And I hope it goes deep within the hearts of people today. And I think it is very essential that values go deeper into us now, more so after this coronavirus and what we have experienced right now.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Alan. The challenge of creating a global values community concept and ways to implement it. Alan?
Thank you, Rahul. So the challenges that we've experienced in creating a global values community really come down to resourcing, whether this is money or talent or time. And the reason for this is that the people that are involved in World Values Day, for instance, or the Global Values Alliance, or the people that set up regional values alliances, are all doing this on a voluntary basis alongside their day job. So that's a real challenge that we've experienced in a number of those environments. But the encouraging thing is that despite that, look at today, look at this event, look at the Values-thon schedule of events that we've got today for World Values Day. And so I think this really echoes Mataji's point about giving, and the people that start these initiatives, because they're doing it from a good place and wanting to give of themselves, what eventually happens is that they reach a tipping point, and then the rest of the people that are getting involved, their energy takes over, and the whole thing perpetuates and continues. But you have to get to that tipping point, and in all of the cases that I've given, that has been with its challenges. But how rewarding when we've actually arrived at something like the 5th year of World Values Day, and we are able to celebrate with events like today.
Thank you, Alan.